Stream of consciousness is a very interesting subject. It is also a favorite subject of question paper setters. Students are frequently asked to write short notes on stream of consciousness. We shall begin the discussion by taking a close look at the term stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness. Stream here means flow. Consciousness means awareness, perception, the flow of the mind, the multitudinous flow of the mind. Stream of consciousness is an attempt to capture the vast flow of the mind. The writer tries to capture all that happens in the mind of the character. And the words on the page written by the writer are believed to be the verbal equivalent of the happenings in the mind of the character. What happens in the mind of the character is reflected closely, accurately, comprehensively, completely by the words on the page. That is what is meant by stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness is a narrative device. It is basically a fictional device. There have been instances of non-fictional works using stream of consciousness, but stream of consciousness is almost always used by fictional works. I think I said that stream of consciousness is a typically fictional narrative device, but an early exemplification of the use of stream of consciousness and the use of stream of consciousness in a non-fiction work at that is found in the Holy Bible. In the Gospel of Luke 7:39, the thoughts of Simon the Pharisee are captured. The thoughts of Simon the Pharisee regarding Jesus and the sinful woman and the woman who is a sinner are captured using the stream of consciousness technique. As I said, stream of consciousness is a technique to capture the flow of the mind of the character. It follows that a stream of consciousness passage is bound to be significantly different from the rest of the work. How does a stream of consciousness passage differ from the work in which it is embedded? First of all, as I said, stream of consciousness tries to capture the flow of the mind of the character. It follows that the writer's loyalty is only to the mind of the character, the flow of the mind of the character, and to nothing else. The attempt of the writer is to capture the flow of the mind of the character comprehensively, accurately, and completely. In the rest of the work, there can be a component of logic, reason, organization. But the component of logic, reason, organization is almost completely absent from the stream of consciousness passage. Frequently, the writer refuses to use punctuation marks. When punctuation marks are used, they are used in a very eccentric manner. The rules of grammar are routinely violated. The rules of tense, number, concord are of little significance to the author of the stream of consciousness passage, because the effort is to capture the flow of the mind of the character, to reflect the flow of the mind of the character, and the flow of the mind of the character is usually beyond all these things. An important characteristic of a stream of consciousness passage is the leap. A stream of consciousness passage typically contains a number of leaps. The mind of the character is said to leap frequently from one thing to another without any reason, without any logic, without any connection. The stream of consciousness passage, in order to capture this, represents the leaps in the mind of the character through words on the page. Sometimes stream of consciousness and interior monologue are used interchangeably, but the two terms are significantly different from each other. Stream of consciousness is the subject matter, is the flow of the mind, is the river of the mental consciousness of the character. Interior monologue is the representation of that flow. Interior monologue is an attempt to capture that flow. Interior monologue is the words that, as accurately as possible, as comprehensively as possible, as completely as possible, capture the flow of the mind of the character. The role of the narrator in a stream of consciousness passage is marginal. The role of a narrator in an interior monologue is higher, because stream of consciousness is only the flow. The narrator has no role in it. Interior monologue is the representation of that flow, and in order to create the representation, the narrator has to play his part. As I said, stream of consciousness and interior monologue have existed from time immemorial. At least they are at least old as the Bible. But the term stream of consciousness was used for the first time by the Scottish philosopher and educationist Alexander Bain. Alexander Bain, in his 1855 book, The Senses of the Intellect. The Senses of the Intellect. However, the term gained popularity only when William James used it in his 1890 book, The Principles of Psychology. Stream of consciousness is used by Lawrence Sterne in Tristram Shandy, Edgar Allan Poe's short story The Telltale Heart, Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, and Anna Karenina, Anton Chekhov's short stories and plays, Henry James' Portrait of a Lady, Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, William Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury. Perhaps I've left out the most important use of stream of consciousness in English literature, and that is the use of stream of consciousness by James Joyce in Ulysses. In the last chapter of Ulysses, often referred to as Molly Bloom's soliloquy, we meet with a long, unpunctuated stream of consciousness passage which attempts to capture the flow of the mind of Molly as she lies in bed next to Bloom.